just because if horses have been imported, they have different digestion. Anyway, so this was a thoroughbred here. Yes, it had been at the track. Yes, there had been some challenges according to the people. And so I went ahead and got quiet and did my communication with the horse. And the horse, of course, told me that there were a number of the things that she was saying, the horse was saying, yes, that this had happened. But it wasn't as traumatizing to the horse. So finally I said to the woman, I said, hey, how long have you been married? And she said, I've been married about 6 months. And I said, okay, how would you feel if you walked into a restaurant with your husband and you were going to meet some of his friends and he introduced you as, this is my new wife. Boy, she had a terrible upbringing. She drank way too much in college. But I think she'll behave tonight. Do any of you do that about your dogs? It's like, we do, right? Would we do that to our friends? Oh my God, here she comes. Oh my God, I gotta tell you. Her parents, woo! So we set some really good situations up. We participate in quite a bit of what's going on. I did have the woman over last night that I got Isabella from. She's up on in Sammamish. She has Happy Hounds Hotel, and she had a rescue, and she loves, she'll go down to Katrina and bring home 15 pit bulls and turn them all into family dogs. The more aggressive, the faster she gets to work. Well, she didn't know what to do with this feral dog. And last night, actually, she was like, she kept touching Isabella's collar, because she said, do you know how I got a collar on her the first time? And I said, no, how? And she said, I had to ace her. I had to drug her up. That's how terrified Isabella is. Well, Isabella, we have some little things here and there, but for the most part, she's really come so far. And one of the reasons is I pretended she was a cat, so I just ignored her, I wasn't going to go, oh my God, you poor thing, which is another thing we do. I look at the opening of my book, I definitely screwed up in the worst possible way with an orphan colt. I treated him human. So I made some terrible mistakes, and I lost him. But at the end of the day, in losing him, I'm standing here. So I made every nutritional and behavioral mistake there was. So when I tell these stories, it's not like, I got there painfully. So when this new Isabella, I put a leash on her, and again, I didn't know she had to be a drug to get a collar on. So she immediately drops to her stomach and starts screaming, and I'm like, I'm not going to feel sorry for her. So instead, I went and got a second leash, and I lifted up her hips, and I said, this is how this goes. I just wasn't going to feel sorry for her, and that really, our emotions play such a key role in how our animals behave. It's not even funny, and it's really, that's why I love saying we're all animal communicators, and if there are ways that you can start to look at your own behavior, there might be an instant shift that minute. I have big workshops at my house. Here's another thing that happened. I had a dog trainer come to help me with Isabella, and I said, this is Olivia, my half-border collie. When I go to events, she usually is, I used to bring her to stuff like this, and she would just sit, and she'd act really great and perfect, and then she'd shoplift later on. But anyway, that's Olivia. So I said to the dog trainer, I really want Isabella to be here with me and Olivia at the events that I speak at, especially, once my book was coming out, I knew I'd be doing a lot of this. And she said, after a session, she said, you might want to rethink that, your goals. That might just be too big a goal for this dog. And I thought, you know what, that's not my dog trainer, because there's no goal too big. I may not reach it, but you know what, within 6 months, I think I had 27 people in that in my house for an animal communication seminar, and you better believe she was sitting right next to me, and she still does to this day. She not only sits next to me when I'm having classes, she lies on her back and says, hello. So, I mean, she's a little comfortable with groups of people. She can also say, I love you. We're teaching her to speak. But anyway, um, so does anyone have any questions so far?
I have a question.
Okay, good.
So you're kind of saying that if you have a dog that has a behavioral problem, if you just kind of act like they're don't have it.
No, I mean, I don't know. You know, denial is a really long river in Egypt. um, okay, what is your challenge?
They pee in the house. When they come in the house, they pee.
After you've just been
But I've
outside?
never seen them pee. It's my boyfriend that says they pee. I've never noticed that they pee.
Okay, so there's phantom pee somewhere.
Phantom pee, and I ignore it, and they never pee when I'm around. That's why I was asking.
Oh, okay. Because you're not making the big deal, and he's probably...
Like they pee. I let them in, and
Right.
pee, and they seem to be fine.
Well, I mean, one of the things, then in your case, yes, ignorance is awesome. You could just maybe drug up your boyfriend. I don't know. I guess what he needs to work on is picturing the behavior that he wants. Because if he's outside going, oh boy, they didn't even pee out here. Now we're going to go inside, and of course, they're going to pee on the floor. You know, that's what he probably doesn't realize how much he's anticipating it. So I would talk to him about trying to picture them potty, and not peeing, again, is picturing them peeing. So you have to picture potty outside. Any other questions? Yes.
If you call your dog and they look at you like, I know this is bad, I'm leaving, I'm gonna go see the neighbor, I don't want to.
That's my dog. Are you talking about my dog, Isabella?
And they're looking at you like, I'm sorry, and then they're just gone. So, what do?
Get a fence? I'm kidding. I would, a number of things. I would think that, how much training have you done with your dog?
He's gone now.
Oh,
But I know I'll get another, and he may do the same thing, because we live in an area where it's wide open. Nobody has any fences, it's on a lake, and across the street is a great dog to go visit. And, they seem to wanna go see Cooper. So, it's a study in patience.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I know you wanna go, I know you're doing it, I know you're sorry.
See, I think there's a lot of animal communication that includes some really gnarly cuss words. Because we get so frustrated. And here's a great example with a horse. I have a horse that I think does not get in the horse trailer, and Kelsey, who's sitting over there, would remember how naughty Raleigh used to be, right? Okay, so I think I'm going to fix this. Meanwhile, I have gotten him from Seattle to Denver to Florida and back. You know, I've lived in all of those places. So he has gotten in a trailer. And I've even moved within those cities. But I have this idea also that he's just rotten about getting in the trailer. So I had this natural horseman friend come over and help me do trailer college. So he said, just show me what you do, and we'll fix it from there. So I showed him what we do, which is I pull him up to the horse trailer. He's 17, he's huge. So he loves to get on his hind legs and act like he's the most powerful in the world. I cuss. He does worse. I get bigger. So it's almost like a matching game. And of course, I sit there and I think, you know what? I make a living for the last 14 years helping people with their animals. I can't even get my horse in a trailer. I have a book out. I'm speaking at the Denver Horse Expo next weekend, okay? So, but anyway, so my horse trainer said, he said, calm down. And he got the horse in with a little bit of a challenge, but not quite like I have. But, it really became so clear to me that day how fun that was for him.
The horse.
Yes. That was a blast. Are you kidding? I get to stand on my hind legs. I get to watch Mom get mad. Eventually I'm going to get in the trailer. Of course I am. But, you know, he was having a ball and I was just worse. I mean, I kept getting worse. So the next day, he was coming over again at 9 in the morning, the natural horseman. And so before I got out of bed, I sat there and I visualized how I wanted the morning to go. And I wanted it to go that I would go downstairs and feed the horses. I'd come in and feed the dogs, and I would make coffee. And as Scott was driving up, I'd hand him a cup of coffee. I'd get my horse, and I'd put him in the trailer. And that's exactly what happened. And he said, "What did you do differently?" I said, "Well, I pictured how I wanted it to go, and I stayed neutral." But, I mean, I've been on the phone with Virginia, and she's heard me just screaming out the window at my dog as I watch her go run off to a neighbor's to bark at them in their own yard. You know? So I know. I feel your pain. But I have worked, I mean, that is my, of all the trauma that dog had, we're just down to that piece. I think we're doing pretty good. That I can, you know, it's daily. It's not like it's all of a sudden going to fix some of this stuff. Yes?
So I'm a dog trainer, and I'm wondering how much of what I do needs to be focusing on behavior versus focusing on, I don't know, I just was fascinated by your saying that the cat doesn't, if you don't think about the cat peeing, she won't pee, you know. That isn't what I've been trained to.
But, you know, what I know a guy down...
What percentage, you know, of should I be telling my clients that don't let you.
Well, it's picturing the outcome. It's picturing the outcome. I teach half here, and some I teach a lot down in Florida. And my friend that helps me with the university, she's a little Virgo that makes all these lists and this, that, and the other thing. And she always calls me the day before I'm coming down to Florida, knowing that I've got a list this high of things to do. And yes, I can get in a panic, but I can also picture being what I call the village idiot, just staring into space on the airplane the next day. So I keep that picture in mind, and all the things that I have to do the day before I leave fall into place. And I don't know how, because it's sometimes impossible. But I still get on that airplane. And the thing, and I use that story because it's really important for people to be continually picturing the outcome of what they want. I mean, if you want the dog to, you could use the same technique for 15 people and dogs, you know, couples. It's all going to come out differently, isn't it? And so the difference is the temperament of both the person and the dog, maybe some breeding. But for the most part, it's going to be a lot of the people's stuff. So if your techniques are the same, you're going to have to kind of adjust a little bit for each of the people, right? I mean, there's people that I think to myself when they tell me all the things that go wrong at a horse show, I'm like, get a motorcycle, really. You know, I mean, what are you doing? Well, you think there's no personality involved? So I think it's a combination of sticking to your techniques, but also being aware of, is this person a hyper, you know, overly anxiety sort of person, and is that dog then just like not quite going to sit, or is, you know, somebody so casual that the dog drifts away? You know, I mean, everybody's going to be different, but I think it's both, and I think that picturing the outcome is a really, really important thing. I mean, if you look at a lot of athletes, some basketball teams, they go in and completely go in and visualize together. A lot of sports do that, you know, and it's really a great technique with the animals. I mean, I have lots more stories other than getting my horse in the trailer where I've visualized what I needed to have happen. And it's pretty, I mean, it is amazing. I'm sure a lot of you have done that. Yes?
My dog was having trouble with his liver, and he's actually been eating fine and going on his walks, and he doesn't show a lot of Alzheimer's signs like that. But
This is a dog I met a year ago?
yeah, he doesn't play as well. He's in the car. Anyway, so I wanted to know, I've been doing some healing work on him, but
Take him to Dr. Frank. I think, again, when you're thinking of the outcome, what do you want to have happen with that liver? And then what is our emotional thing of, I call it the Santa Claus syndrome. Where are we going to be disappointed if we don't have the exact outcome? Do you know what I mean? So if you could get rid of any old disappointments with healing and really focus on what it is you want. I mean, a liver has more of a shot at coming back than a lot of other organs do. And I just personally always believe in miracles. And it may look different, but I've really, really, really spending a few minutes a day. I mean, Jerry Nestor Hicks or Abraham says that it's 17 seconds a day on that outcome. Pure thought on that outcome is what it takes for something like that to start to come. And so, if picturing him with a little extra spring in his step and smelling the smells and being excited and, if we think of all the emotional components that come with the liver, which would be a lot of times the anger or the suppressed stuff. So imagine that all that, he's finding a way to release it. And whoever else in the household has some of those feelings. Any other questions? Do you want to play a telepathic game? Okay, yes?
When you were going to the stable, the owner was having a problem with the horse.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you picture to get the horse to tell you what was going on?
We're going to do that in a minute. But what I do is I get quiet. I mean, I've done a lot of, prior to becoming an animal communicator, I've done a lot of meditating and yoga, and, I've had a background like that. But so I get quiet, and then I just allow the pictures and feelings and words to come. And in my classes, I always hand out sheets that have, simple questions like, what are your favorite things? And how are you feeling emotionally? And how are you feeling physically? And that usually opens the door to a conversation. And I remember one time a gal was studying with me for a long time, and she said, why do I always have to ask, what are your favorite things? And I thought, well, it's such a great opener, And it gives people confidence. So, like, for example, let's say you didn't believe in animal communication, but I didn't know that, but you lost your dog, and you got my number, and you called me, and you really needed that information from me. If I can start with saying, I get a sense that your dog loves the smell of blah, 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 and da-da-da-da-da, and I can get that person calmed down just for a minute and be able to say, yeah, that's my dog, then I can say, what I'm seeing is, a sidewalk with a zigzag sort of, I can start to describe the pictures for the person. So starting very simply, and that's one thing to do at home. I have an exercise in my book where you get quiet and you just kind of expand your aura and include your animal in the space with you. I also have a guided meditation up there, too. A lot of times the animal will start to, you'll just start to pick up things from the animal.
I have had that experience but I don't know how to guide the topic that I want to hear about.
Well, is that because you have a big agenda with it? I mean, we do. That's what is the topic you want to hear about?
Okay, to give you an example. I saw a dog I hadn't seen for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And she came up to me saying water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this picture, it wasn't words, but I should have tried to find out what, I figured she just wanted her dish filled. And I sort of have a feeling that that's not what it was. But I don't know how to picture and tell me more.
You could just say, tell me more. I mean, that's pretty much all I'm doing when I get on the phone.
They don't go off in a different direction when you say that, though?
Sometimes they're going to go off on different things, and I'll keep bringing the topic back. And then I suspect usually that the person that owns them has a little ADD. uh, that, but it's you know, you can get them to do that. But it takes a lot of practice. You know what? At the end of the day, this what I do, being able to do it at the level that I'm doing it is an enormous amount of practice. But it's been really fun. I mean, it's you know, it's been a great job. What was I going to tell you about the dog and water? Oh well, that story will come to me in a minute. Okay, so let's play. Oh yes.
Do you ever talk to wild animals?
I do talk to wild animals, and one of my assignments has been sending my students off to wild animals, and Diane just went down to a place in Oregon and talked to wild animals, and it's a very different reality, because if you think about it, you know, I can talk to a dog in our home, and you know, the dog will tell me, all my person thinks about is math. Well, and then I find out he's an accountant, you know, and so, because they can see into our very domestic and sophisticated world. And with wild animals, it's just more on basically a fight or flight or survival. You know, it's their mechanism is to be on the lookout and what have you. But I have a great little story about some pigeons. I was living in LA years ago, and I was riding my friend's horse at an arena that we used to call the Spooky Arena. What were we setting up? But anyway, so I'm in the Spooky Arena on her horse Flash, who spooked all the time. And but he was very good with me. And I saw these pigeons whipping around, and they were all in a frenzy. And so I focused on this one, and I said, "What's going on?" Because I figured either we're going to have a storm or an earthquake. And the pigeons said, "Earthquake today at 3, gotta go." And they all just took off. And we had a 4-pointer at 2:55 that afternoon. Yeah, that was a good one. And I remembered the story I was going to tell about the expanded aura. So when I wrote my book, my editor was, I put the story in the book, but people don't know it's my editor. So she had tried the exercise with the expanded aura, and she had her little dog, Henry. Henry's been the theme today. So she was talking, so she expanded out, and Henry was sitting on the couch with her, and she said it was so loud she actually turned around to look. She heard, "I'm not a baby, I'm a grown man. Quit talking in a stupid baby voice." And so she stopped. She was so sure there was someone in the house with her. And anyway, the dog ended up, you know, the dog had been even growling at her at times, you know. And so he stopped growling, he stopped nipping, he had a little extra spring in his step because now he was the man. And yeah, not the baby anymore. So anyway, you know, it's amazing what we can find out when we get really, really clear and quiet, which is why I have that meditation out, because I think it's really, how many of us suffer from chitty-chatty stuff in our head? I mean, it's ridiculous. And the other thing of it is it's not going away anytime soon. It's just getting worse. It's getting piled on. We've got, you know, we pick up on this group emotion. We pick up on this group stuff. Where we can get caught up in group ADD. I keep thinking, when are we going to have like that group bliss, you know? Could we all sign on that one soon? We don't have enough names on that petition yet. But the thing, you know, I actually think that, you know, when you think about that chitty-chatty thing that's going on in your head and the loop and all of that, you know, I would bet that that only 15% of what we think about in a day is original thought. I think that the rest of what we think is picking up on other people's stuff, picking up even on our animal stuff, we're not realizing it, picking up on this, I mean, just a ridiculous amount of picking up on world events. Our feelings are definitely not all our own. And how many of you are paying for the chiropractor for something that ain't yours? Most of you. And that's the truth. I mean, today I had a riding lesson this morning, and my back was stiff, and I was like, I didn't do anything to have my back be stiff. And when I got down to the barn, I like poked on one of my horses, and sure enough, it wasn't me, and mine went away. So whenever you have all of a sudden that some feeling that takes over, usually like a little, has anyone ever just all of a sudden had like a little mini depression just kind of come on? It's probably not yours. And the first thing I tell people to do is just say, is this mine? And if it isn't yours, it's going to go away. And it's the same with physical sensations. And that's a huge thing right there. If it goes away, then you start poking the backs in your household, your dog, your cat, your friend. Hey, come here. But I mean, I win friends like you can't believe. No, I have to go to Safeway to talk to people. And you think I'm kidding. No, I'll spend all day on the phone talking to animals, and I get a little wiggy because I've been on the phone all day talking to animals, and then I've got our animals, so I go to the grocery store a lot. Every day. So anyway, do you guys want to play a game? Yeah. Okay. So find somebody you didn't come with, and go ahead, and you need a partner. Well, do you have a partner over there? Okay, you guys can be partners. Now, does anyone else need a partner? Okay. You too. Okay, so. This is going to be fun. Okay. So, I want everyone to be quiet and respectful of each other. And so one of you is going to be a sender and one of you is going to be a receiver. And if I were to say something, if I were to use the color red, then the sender would send the receiver a very common red object like an apple or a heart or something like that. So, but I'm not going to say the color red. I got a whole new color for y'all. So go ahead and pick your job. So one of you is the sender and one of you is the receiver. Okay, so now we're going to be quiet and we're going to be respectful of everybody. And when you get the information, when you get the picture or you get the word, please, let's be quiet until we're going to go around, and it's going to be pretty funny because you're not going to believe the group consciousness thing that happens. Okay, so I want everyone to close your eyes, focus on your breathing for a moment. And the senders are going to send a very common yellow object. Go. Bless you. Okay. So we're going to still be quiet because we're going to learn the most here. So who was the sender and who was the receiver? Receiver, what did you get? What were you sending? Okay.
Actually, I heard duck feet.
Oh, that's funny. So you've got telepathic dyslexia? Awesome. Oh, she got banana at first, and then she got, and the other woman was sending a rubber ducky, and so she'd actually heard duck feet. So that's pretty good. Okay, and right here. What did you get?
Oh, first I saw Asia, and then I got like tennis ball,
Yellow rose, okay. And how about back here? Receiver?
I got a sunshine.
So first you sent sunshine. Okay, let's just review, and I don't mean to make you an example, but are you ready? First you thought sunshine, and then you thought banana, and you sent banana. How often do we do that to our animals? You know, we think one thing, and we just constantly are sending mixed messages. So, you know, that's really, thank you. Okay. And right behind you? Okay, so the one person saw banana, and the woman that was sending the receiver saw the sunshine. The sender saw sunshine for a second, but went on to send banana. So does that make sense? Do you see how we do? That's a rather common thing that we do at home. Because we all do that. Okay, and so right behind them.
I was the receiver, he was the sender. And at first, I saw sun, and then I saw a lemon. And then a few minutes later, I saw yellow submarine.
Wow.
Maybe somebody else over there was thinking yellow submarine, I don't know.
You know what's funny is I actually had to pick all my music today for my new radio show, and I was listening to a bunch of Beatles songs all day today because I picked a Blackbird. Anyway, yeah, so I was listening to Beatles today.
Well, I sent banana, but I absolutely didn't want to send banana, so I was thinking truck and tennis ball. Sorry.
There, you got the tennis ball.
Sent lemon, and they came together and she sent lemon.
That's funny. That's okay. So there was, yeah, a salad going on, mass confusion, but the couple that came together were both focused on lemon. And Cassie, you got lemon? Awesome. Okay, and right down here. And who was the receiver? And what were you sending? Good job. What'd you?
I got banana. Correct.
You guys,
I was sending her banana cream pie. And I was sending her not pumpkin, but pudding and everything that was banana flavors.
You know what was funny is right when I closed my eyes before you said yellow, banana popped into my head.
okay, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I have to think of something, and as soon as I say yellow, I have to think of something else because banana just flies out. How many of you had a banana just land in your head? I'm really sorry. Yeah. Okay. Who was the receiver? What'd you get?
First I got daffodil, and then I got rubber duck.
And I first got banana immediately, and I didn't want to do banana because it was way too common, so then I went to ball, but then I kept flipping back and forth. Well, should I go with banana, should I go with ball? So I got their rubber duck.
That's so funny. I love that. I got rubber duckies floating around. Okay. And what did you get? What'd you get? What were you sending? What were you sending? Oh, taxi cab. Okay. I was like, wow. Okay. And right behind you.
I got banana, and I got it right away, and I just stuck with it, even though I kept feeling like I should be something else. I was sun, but I kept wanting to think yellow daisy, but I kept trying to focus on sun.
Okay. And what did you get? Yeah.
It was yellow school bus. I started with yellow ball.
Okay. Now, what I want to tell about the ball and the sunshine is in the very beginning of this, I like to say that really we learned, we naturally do telepathy. When we came onto this planet Earth, and whoever our caregiver was, we communicated through pictures, words, and feelings. And we learned to, certain emotions could manipulate, certain emotions could get attention. So, to cry, to do a number of these things, we got good at it. In the meantime, we let go of telepathy once we learned language. So when you look at something like you sent a sunshine and you got a ball or whatever it was, that in the very beginning, we're just reworking a muscle that we haven't used since we were about 1.5, 2 years old. So getting the shape is hugely important. And some of you others got shapes similar to what was being sent. And the reason I say that's important is because I do a lot of lost animal work, and a lot of times I don't know what I'm looking at. And so when I can describe a shape, then I'm giving someone clues. Like, for example, there was a woman that called me in Los Angeles, and she had, her dog had been missing for about a day and a half, and I was very, very tired, and there's no way I wanted to do, it was like 9:30 at night, and I usually don't answer the phone, and it was an LA prefix. I thought it was my old friend, and I picked up. Turns out it was somebody, crying on the other end of the phone, and so I said, I'll do the appointment first thing in the morning. I've been working all day. I have to go to Safeway. I'm kidding. I've been working all day, and I won't give you my best. I'll give you my best in the morning. And I really meant that. And so I said, in the meantime, you can email me a picture. And so she was, on the computer emailing me a picture while we were still on the phone. And she had said, I rented a helicopter because everybody does that. But she had been through the canyons in LA and had seen packs of coyotes and was just terrified that something terrible had happened to her dog. So as we're still on the phone, the picture of the dog shows up on my, I get it. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. And it was this adorable Wheaten Terrier. And how could I, all of a sudden pictures started coming. So I said, hold on a second, this isn't going to be my best reading. I'm still going to do a reading for you in the morning, but this is what I'm getting. And what I saw on the top of a hill was 3 rectangular shapes and then a rectangular shape built into the hill. And so I thought that it was possibly what I was looking at was 3 one-level houses on the top of a hill, but still I kept calling it rectangles, and then one of those sort of houses built into a cliff, hanging off the cliff. And I said the one that's the rectangle that's, going that direction, it looks like it's very colorful, and it looks like there's a flagpole, and so I kept describing. And so, I didn't, I went out into my barn and tucked my horses in, and I didn't hear the phone ring, so I didn't know what happened. Well, she found the 3 houses and the house built into the hill. She went running up with a flyer about her dog as a woman comes running out and says, you've got to help me. There's a dog stuck in the drain. It's going to drown if we don't get it, and the fire department's on the way. Took 14 people to get the dog out of the drain, but all from shapes. So you can't dismiss, if you didn't get the lemon and you got a sunshine, this is where we start. Well, of course it was her dog. Diane. It was her dog. They got the picture of the Wheaten Terrier, okay? This is a good group, all right? All right. Okay, so there's back here. Who did you do the game? Yeah, I was.
As soon as she said the color sunshine and then yellow bus, I was sending yellow, puffy yellow chicken.
All right. And Virginia, I know you played the game with yourself. What'd you give yourself? Awesome. And did you guys play down there? What'd you? All right, so we're in the flower. Good.
I saw a really distinct image. I saw a bunch of bananas. They were three in front, two in back.
Wow.
I actually had showed her a picture of the daffodil picture that I was thinking of that I have on my phone, and it's a profile shot with sort of like the petals across the top and then some across the bottom.
Like her picture looked kind of like what I saw.
That's amazing. That's good. See, we don't always get from our partner. Have you noticed like that the little lemon fruit salad thing was happening over here? So, you know, a lot of times this really, I mean, I always joke that I do not go to the mall after a yoga class. You're all zenned out and quiet, and then somebody's going to buy pants, and you came in for a shirt, but now you've got 10 things. You know, we pick up on the stuff. Okay, so Diane, who'd you play the game with? Yeah, against the rules. So anyway, just kidding. What were you sending? I sent a sunflower. Oh. Okay. That'll have to do. Yeah, of course. Okay, and Chris, who were you? What were you? What'd you get?
I first got a sun and then a daffodil. And then after the sun, daffodil.
And who was your partner? Mm-hmm. And Frank? Oh, okay. Oh, got the yellow submarine going. Wow. That's good. That's. Yeah, Dr. Frank in the boat. Okay, so Kelsey.
I immediately got a sun and then a banana.
What were you sending?
I sent the sunflower, but I sent it in by the sun. Very specific sunflower.
Oh. But there was sunflower going on over here. Yeah. I'm just hoping your boat's not a lemon. Russ, I'm sure you played. Okay, good to know. All right, so we're going to switch jobs and we're going to go through the room much quicker when we're done, but this time the senders are going to be the receivers are going to be the senders. I'm getting a picture of a very well-loved dog. Okay, so the senders are going to be the receivers now. You're switching jobs, and this time the color is green. Okay. All right, so I'll start back this direction. Kelsey, oh no, your partner got? The lime what? She's sending rounds, actually, of shots. Okay, so Diane? What'd you get? Grass? Okay, good. And right in front of Diane, what did you guys get? Oh, good. Okay, we got a bunch of the grass back there. I bet Virginia was sending you the grass. Okay, so Frank? No wonder you were getting the wavy grass. That's really funny. Okay, and Chris? Oh, wait, all right. Forest with grass. Okay, good. Okay, and right here. Okay, good. Okay, you were here with her. What were you sending? Well,
I didn't get much, I thought it was a palm tree.
see the group thought here. Okay, and what did you guys get back there?
I said grass, but that's all I could think of. I tried to think of something else, and I couldn't
That's great. Okay, and the way in the back there?
So I got a whole bunch of stuff. When you first said green, I immediately got watermelon, some of it. And then I had green beans, and then I had Oscar the Grouch. And then I finally ended up on grass towards the end.
What were you sending? What's that? Okay. That's why you got a bunch of stuff. That's really funny. That is really good. Okay, and what did...
I think we did better this time. Initially, I saw the grass, and it was like, it got real long and fast, and I'm like, well, it's like rougher or bumpier, and I kind of thought outdoor carpet, that green outdoor carpet, and then it kind of went to the earth, and I'm like, no, it's grass.
I was imagining a bed of clovers.
Oh. Good. Okay, and down here?
I got grass and then it switched to moss.
What were you saying? Oh, pea pods. Okay. And right here?
I just kept getting spiky green things. Artichoke. I couldn't figure out what it was, but it was spiky green.
Did everyone hear that? Spiky green things, and she was sending an artichoke. It's pretty good, huh? Next time you go shopping, get those. Exactly. Yeah, all right.
Before my eyes were shut, grass, and the longer I tried to come up with something else, I couldn't, it was just grass. Same here.
Good. Okay. There's a lot of grass going on here. What'd you get?
I got green peas, green beans, and those pea pod things.
Wait,
Yeah.
she gets sent a pea pod. Okay. What were you sending?
A what?
It's like an
Oh, okay.
Oh, but that could be like that. I mean, that's going to be, an aloe is more,
Yeah, I was thinking like a big fountain of spiky.
but still, a pea pod's going to be,
Yeah, it was like, curved.
alrighty. And if you didn't know what that plant was, and that's as close, if we don't know what something is, we can't identify it, we can't then say, oh, it was this. So that's where it's worth it when you're if you are communicating like with your neighbor's dog, because you're going to go home and practice tonight, explain what you see, because a lot of times we don't have a word for it, or we don't know quite. As I said, I didn't know really, just I had rectangles on that one. Okay, and so right here?
Very clearly and only blades of grass.
I first sent grass, and then I sent like spiky leaves on dandelions, like on the bottom of the dandelions.
So some spikes. And that's good. Okay.
I got grass. I said a tree.
There's a lot of grass going on. Okay.
Actually, I forgot that I was supposed to send. So I thought I was
Excellent.
reading, and I totally thought I just kept seeing this prominent tree, really bushy tree.
She was
So
saying
apparently I
tree
sent
that
that to him because that's what he got.
That's awesome. So they've got a little group thing working out over there. I'm not so sure what they're doing, but it's
And you saw my tree, I sent it to you.
yeah, they had a tree get boomerang sort of tree thing. All right. So did anyone did the item come right in?
I couldn't think of anything else. The fact you said green now.
Okay, so everyone that got that, especially that saw grass, did it just kind of come in and didn't linger? Well, you probably couldn't figure out what you were looking at with the artichokes.
It was definitely green. There was no question that it was green. It wasn't like any other color or shade of any value.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely green. It was just spiky, and I didn't know if it was rubber. I mean,
And an artichoke would almost be like a rubbery sort of.
yeah, kind of a thing. But it was had a weird texture. But I just kept trying to figure it out. And I thought, well, just stay with it.
Well, I think you guys did great. Do you, this is the hardest thing. Talking to an animal is so much easier, because we have, again, like we have our agenda, we have what we want to hear with our own animals, we have what we need to hear. So it's really important to start with some neutral, like if you have a friend that's not going to judge you or make fun of you, that's the person to start with. And honestly, the most important thing, I think getting in a class situation is really good because it builds your confidence, but one of the more important things you can do is just go out and practice. So anyway, does anyone have any questions? Oh, I did such a good job. I've explained it all perfectly.
What's the phone number to the Big Dog Spanking School again?
That's 360-794. Okay, you guys have been great. I think you did really, really well. Sometimes there's a lot of ping-ponging, but that group wave of grass is just amazing. But it's, anyway, yes, Kelsey. That's why I go to Safeway. That's what Safeway's for. No. You know what? I do normal things. I have a lot of stuff that I do. In the morning I either go running or I jump rope to loud, stupid disco music. And then I get quiet throughout the day. But one of the reasons I like to workout first thing in the morning is I get a sense of where I'm at emotionally, physically, and mentally. And where I know where I am, I mean, I always tell my classes that if I'm going to go to, say, a barn, and I'm going to talk to 10 horses. Now, I broke my ankle 16 years ago. If I go to a barn and every horse has a right hind ankle issue, then I know I'm not communicating with the horses. I'm bringing my own stuff to the party. So I do a lot in the morning to just sort of check in with myself. And then literally when I'm done work, it's like anybody else. I put the time card in and I try. I might be a little crazy, like I shouldn't probably be driving, but if it's been a lot of animals. But no, I can turn it off pretty easily. And I have to. I'd go insane. Although it's a much better world half the time. Any other questions? Yes.
What is the name of your book?
Communication with All Life, Revelations of an Animal Communicator. And I've got a few up there. And it's a really steamy book. Let me tell you. And I have speaking of steam, see what I'm saying? I also have the guided meditation for quieting and checking in with ourselves. You know, just allowing the mental chatter to go and the physical aches and pains and the emotional, feelings that stick to us. Yes?
Is it easier or harder to talk to pets that have crossed over?
It's kind of the same. The difference with animals, she asked, is it easier or harder to talk with pets that have crossed over? I mean, here's my take for whatever it's worth. Whether you believe in reincarnation or whatever, let's say that me right now, I've left an imprint, an energetic imprint on here, and I can leave the room and you can still tap into whatever you need to with me. And it's the same when they've crossed over. What's different is, again, kind of like the wild animals, the reality is very different. It's very almost intoxicating because it's very full of love. And it's a really nice, I had my group, I have 5 people graduating at the end of March from my university, and we did a workshop on death and dying, and we brought in a grief counselor and what have you, and it was pretty wild because I went to Costco and I bought massive Kleenex. I thought everybody's going to be crying. And you know what? It was really a powerful time. And I know you've probably just recently lost someone. I'm sorry. But it's very, I'd be happy to help if you want to get my information. It's a really important part of this job, I think, because a lot of times people have, you have unfinished business. And there's just a lot of our emotions are still with the grief and what. So anyway, I'd be happy to help. It's what I do. Yes?
Kind of touching on that, can you tell if, would you be able to help to tell if an animal had passed on or if they just ran away and got lost?
I do a lot of that.
Okay.
That's, yeah. Yes.
Gotta have closure,
And that's the hardest part of lost animals. To me, lost animals are much harder emotionally for the animal communicator to do than for the animals that have crossed over or are about to cross over, because at least you know. And in your situation, I lost a cat 2 years ago. It took me 2 years to get a cat. Now I've got 4. But here I'd reunited thousands of people and their animals, and I couldn't even get my own cat back. So I know. It sucks. Yes?
I have anxiety issues, and I'm wondering, am I affecting my animals with that? I mean, am
she's asked, did everyone hear that? She said she has anxiety issues, and is she torturing her own animals with that? Maybe. No. Well, actually, I'm kidding. You know what? The thing that's really important to know, and I say this to my animals all the time, is, you know, if you think about, I mean, there's a certain way that you could take responsibility and maybe try to be a little more aware of how much that could be affecting the household. But the other thing that you have to remember then, if you have a super calm animal, which you appear to have, is that, you know, on some level, there's a little contract that everybody signed up for before you incarnated here on planet Earth. And part of that is this relationship. And so, you know, whenever something really goes lousy at my house, I just always say, you know what? You picked me. The other mantra I have, too damn bad. Well, we did. We all signed up. You know, so there's, yeah. See? Awesome. I have my cousins have this bowl, and they have 2 kids, and actually they're, you know, great kids, but it's called the therapy bowl, and the parents, they just drop like 10s or 20s in it. You're going to need this in your 20s. Yeah, I should probably have that. Here's the animal communicator bowl for my poor animals. I'm not kidding now. But I think that, you know, tonight's the first night of being aware of how much the emotion, certainly, as we talked about earlier, that if you're a dog trainer and you've got a fair amount of technique, that's going to be a really important thing because, I mean, I like what Cesar Millan says as far as, you know, it's exercise, obedience, and then affection. And, you know, if you've got good boundaries in your own house and, you know, we're getting exercise, that alone right there could kind of diminish the anxiety.
What were the 3 exercises?
He always says exercise, obedience, and then affection. We do the opposite, you know. But, I mean, I think even cats. I mean, you should see on the mornings that I jump rope. The kittens and the dogs, everybody's crazy. I should really video that. It's wacky. Everybody knows when the music comes on. No, they get wild. Oh, my God. No, they're like, there's balls flying and jump ropes going and cats flying, dogs running. It's wacky. It's great. Actually, the border collie will leave the ball and just stare at it like I'm supposed to kick it while I'm jumping rope, and the lab will come and just steal it. Like, so it's quite a setup. So anyway, you guys have been great, and I think we've got to do a raffle here now, and I want to thank you guys. Where do I... So does Peggy want to come up and pull some lucky numbers and tell us real quick about Homeward Pet? Yes, she does. Goody.
That's a good idea. Thank you. How much can I start at 50,000? Anybody? Do I hear 50,000? How about 52? Anyway, this is Precious, and she wants to thank each and every one of you for coming out this evening. And we really appreciate the kind words from Miss Diane and her family for helping out tonight. And thank you. And I also just reach out and thanks Joan so much for a delightful presentation. I enjoyed the exercise. I kept saying, green grass over and over and over, and Uncle Frank got it, so that's good. And I want to thank all the vendors who came out and their support and their donations for the raffle prizes this evening. And it's just amazing, you know, the things that went through my mind during Joan's presentation. I have 3 cats, 2 dogs, and sometimes I know they're just communicating with me nonstop. And they just pick up my vibe so well. And having said that, you know, I've learned from my own family animals and working in the shelter just how much they communicate to us. And this happens to be 2 of our outstanding volunteers. They've been with us for a long time. This is Lynn Eskel and this Jennifer Douglas. And Lynn comes in faithfully every Tuesday night, and she socializes our cats. She takes care of their ever needs, and so Jennifer does the same thing with the dogs. She's faithful every Wednesday walking those dogs. So I just wanted them to just share a quick thing.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Homeward Pet is a great organization that has dogs and animals that need homes. And when you first go in there, you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to feel so bad and want to take them all home, and I can't. And so, you know, I shouldn't even go. I shouldn't go. But I did the Big Brother, Big Sister program, and my little sister wanted to volunteer when she was 16, and when that was one of the places she could go. So I said, all right, I'll do it. But I can't take anything home. I already have all these pets at home. Well, I went, and I fell in love with Homeward Pet Animal Shelter as a whole. And those dogs and cats have a wonderful place as a go-between to find their final forever home. And so it's a very positive, wonderful place to come and visit. So I do recommend that you come and do that. The cats have luxurious little condos and all that. And the dogs get all their daily walks and so much attention from the volunteers. But having visitors come in and see them and spread the word is what's really, really important. But yeah, I did end up getting another cat. It did happen, but you know, it was one of those things that he just forever, every week I come back and he was still there, he was still there. And then one day it was like, he's gone. Well, he was in the playroom, and that was it. I said, I'm taking him home. And he's been a wonderful cat, a wonderful addition to the household, and I don't regret a minute of it. So anyway, that's my story with it, and I really hope you come out to visit.
I wanted to share a story about Homeward Bound. My brother, or Homeward Pet, my brother lost his job in the recession, lost his house, had to move in with my mom and dad that lived in Arizona, and the last detail he had was his cat. He needed to find a home for his cat. He was leaving the next day, and nobody wanted the cat. It was way overweight, and it wasn't the nicest cat. It wasn't, you know. So anyways, he couldn't find a home for it, and someone mentioned that service, and he was so relieved. He went and brought his cat. He knew it wasn't going to die, and it actually found a home. He found out later, actually, that somebody else came like a few days later.
Oh, that's great.
Wonderful.
His cat.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
That's good. Yeah, a lot of
Wonderful.
success stories.
We get 35 to 40% of our cats and dogs are owner surrender, and with the economy as it is, we're seeing more of that, and it's very heart-wrenching to go through, you know, that for them, and for us to be there to help them. I know that makes a difference. So, and then the other percent is that we help other rescue organizations. We go down to Kent, we go down to Animal Control in Tacoma, Everett, and we literally take cats and dogs off of death row. You know, they're low kill. We are the largest no-kill shelter in the state of Washington, actually, for cats and dogs. So a lot of people don't realize that about us. And this is our 20th anniversary of helping homeless cats and dogs. So, thank you, thank you. All right, but again, I want very much to thank you. We have an auction coming up, and if you've ever been to an auction, you've got to come to ours. It's May 1st. It's going to be held downtown at the Seattle Marriott Waterfront. And we have some exciting auction items, and we'd love to have you come and join us for the evening. If you have anything you would like to help us out with on a donation, an auction donation, let me know. So, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, and we want to do a drawing,
Sounds like a
right?
plan.
Let's do.
I want to add. So I'm adding, if anyone wants to buy more tickets, I've got a class in April. I've got actually an energy class or a animal nutrition class. So I'm adding to the raffle if anyone wants to buy more tickets. There's, you have a choice of either taking my energy work class at the end of March or April, or I've got another class in the fall, but one of my classes.
And I just want to say really quickly about the auction. I go to a lot of auctions. I help out with Children's Hospital and a few other organizations. This is the biggest silent auction I've ever seen in my life. There's 3 big conference rooms or almost ballrooms full of fantastic items, quite a variety. And then we have the live auction. So it's incredible. You're going to find some great deals and some fun things to pick up. And we have pets there too. But anyway, so I highly recommend going to this because it is the best bargain place in the world. So
Let me just say one thing, that we do not auction off any of the animals. So I just want to make sure that's very clear. We just bring them to introduce them to potential, new families, and it happens every year. Thank you.
Okay, should we let's save your baskets,
That's fine. I'll hold this.
You hold
while
that.
read that, and
and I'll get out, we've got gift certificates first. Hmm?
go ahead, take it easy, and then I'll draw. I'm not going to draw the number.
Okay. Our first gift certificate,
the mic,
Oh.
honey.
actually, let's do Joan's class for the first gift certificate, for the first raffle ticket.
You think they could make these things any smaller? 785860.
Okay, good.
Yay.
Good. Hold that one out. Okay.
Okay, and then our first gift certificate is going to be for a 30-minute veterinary exam with Dr. Frank. And it's a $55 value.
Okay, I'll just read the last 3 digits, I think. So no, wait a minute. Yeah, 851. Great. 8s and 6s look like.
You have another ticket?
No, I mean, like, do you want this receipt?
No, you're the only one in the room that said it. Now, if we had 2 people, then we would check you out.
Yeah. And then I have another gift certificate from Dr. Frank. This is for a free test for heartworm, Lyme, and Ehrlichia. Something you don't want your animal to have.
Okay, 878.
Okay. And then this one is from Kristen Breidenich. She's a Reiki master, and she has a gift certificate for a 1-hour-long Reiki intuitive healing session.
$831.
Woohoo! And then this one is from Catherine Andrews. She's an energy worker. She also does Bowen therapy for animals. And she has a gift certificate for one bone assessment or treatment of one animal.
943. You get it? Oh, okay.
Woohoo! You can be intuitive with each other. No, I trust you. I know where you live. Okay, we have 3 gift certificates for Heavenly Spa. This is an awesome little doggy spa. This one is a certificate for a 1-hour doggy swim party. It's a $150 value.
Okay, and so it's 843. 843.
Yay!
I just wanted to say that we recently took one of our elderly dogs there that had a lot of arthritic conditions in the back and backside of the dog, and we took it to Heavenly Spa. Heavenly Spa. And
One of those heavenly places.
it was Heavenly Valley for him because it did improve him quite a bit, so it was great.
We have another Heavenly Spa gift certificate. This one is for a 1-hour aquatic bodywork session for your dog.
Okay, 877.
Woohoo!
Lucky night, look at that, all right.
See, that's what happens when you buy a lot of tickets.
And this is another one for Heavenly Spa for another 1-hour aquatic bodywork session for your dog.
Okay. This will be so many different, I think. 939. 939.
Very good, congratulations.
And then now we have gift baskets from Homeward Pet.
So we've got a cat basket, and we also have a dog basket.
So I guess you get to choose.
You get to choose first one.
927.
They're right over on the table.
So which one are you getting? The cat one, okay. So this is for the dog basket. 849.
Great.
I think that's it.
Wonderful. Okay.
Oh,
That's right.
we have a surprise raffle bag.
They put it on the table.
We have one more raffle bag from All the Best Pets. Thank you, Ashley.
It's got a rabbit in it.
I know I should have bought a couple tickets.
Okay, I gotta see that. 879. Oh,
I'm sorry.
She's the one that bought 400 tickets. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I think this has been a really big success for Homeward Pet, and that's just what I was hoping for. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Every single song is like a poem, you know.
that's right.
It's like words. No matter where I roam, well, I know every single soul is a poem. It's written on the back of God's hand. No matter where I roam, well, I know every single soul is a poem. It's written on the back of God's hand. You see moms and pops be copulating, planting seeds and picking weeds for another season. Another reason for living, another reason for giving, another reason for loving and trying to stay out of prison. Cause everything in life can't be nice, and everything you want can't be got. But the lessons on being patient be causing the pressure to rise and make some people suicidal. Oh no, another soul has lost control, pulling back into the fold. He got strung out on the material, all the superficial initials upon his clothes. They make me wanna go spree. Well, every time I see my family locked in